Hello, this is the Sheldon Heights Church of Christ History Project called the 90th Nine Voices. And I'm your moderator, Joseph Olalusi. And in this series, we'll talk to 9 different voices that'll ultimately bring us to date as to how Sheldon Heights and all its culture and all its impact have come to be in its 90th anniversary. Each episode will have its own theme and ultimately bring us to date on how the church came to be what it is today. Regardless of your religious background, regardless of your culture, we hope that this history project inspires you to realize that history is being made at this very moment and that you're a part of it. Without further ado, let's dive in.
So Levi Kennedy was sick and told him to please come back to Chicago in 1968. 67. So he came back, I think, early 68. And at that moment, Levi Kennedy was sick. I think he had cancer. He ended up dying December 1970. So December 1970, Brother Kennedy passed at 71 years old. And Brother Jordan became the next preacher in really January of 1971.
What I've noticed that all of the transitions at Michigan Avenue, Sheldon Heights, have been as a result of conscious decisions. Brother Kennedy asked Brother Jordan to come back. Then Brother Jordan was working with Brother Gilbert. And now today, Brother Gilbert is working with Brother Carter. So all of these transitions, and they have been intentional, and they had the support of the members and the leadership. And I think that's why they have gone so smoothly.
Some people always knew what they were going to be. Brother Gilbert was always planning to be the minister at Sheldon Heights. I do remember that because me and his brother Reggie used to hang out. And D was always preparing himself to be the minister. Some people, it's just in them, that spirit is in them, in them to be in the church and involved in the church.
The first thing he gave me, I was hired as a youth minister. Then I became the educational director of the church. And then I became the evangelistic director of the church. And that was all within 6 years of being hired. So I was doing everything by that time. And then he made the pronouncement to the church about 88, 89, that Leonardo D. Gilbert would be the next preacher of the church.
I remember, but this was after we had moved to Sheldon Heights. I remember when he got sick, about the last time that I saw him, I remember how he had walked across the pulpit area after a Bible class one Thursday morning. And I never will forget that. And he said he hadn't been feeling well or something. And we said, well, we hope that he was feeling better, But he didn't get over that.
Jordan had a sudden death in 1995, which none of us expected. Brother Kennedy, we knew he was sick for a couple of years, and we could see his decline. And it was hard, but Brother Kennedy had brought Brother Jordan back to fill the bridge there when he passed. Brother Jordan automatically just taking the work on. And Brother Gilbert's case, when Brother Jordan died, Brother Gilbert was in training. He had came back after he finished college, came back, and I encouraged him to come back because we needed somebody to work with our young people, and I was trying to pass that off. So he came back and started working with our youth. And Brother Jordan was training him, working with youth and youth ministry and stuff like that. So when he passed, all of a sudden in 95, we now had to make a decision as leaders who was going to be our next minister. So after, a lot of prayer, we all decided that with the leaders that we had, that Brother Gilbert would be our best person to work with. He grew up there. He knew the people. He knew the work. He knew something about Michigan Avenue. And so we, gave him that opportunity to be our next leader.
But when you're called as a minister, people, you're constantly being called on, put on. You don't have your own life because that's the calling of Jesus Christ, God, and so once you do that, once you accept that calling, then it's a great calling. Mm-hmm. But you sacrifice and you have to deal with criticism, people and Black people who don't want to move forward. They want to stay where they are, and they, and that it has been a challenge with every single minister that we had, getting the church to move from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the millennium, to get them to understand, you got to, kicking and fighting and screaming. And that's a challenge within itself.
So I remember when Dee was always, really important. And so I do remember when, I used to always tell Brother Gilbert when he was, hey, when you the minister, I got your back. Whatever you need, I got your back. Whenever 10, 15 years from now, whenever you be the minister, I got you, bro. I appreciate you. Because I was maybe like 12, 13, 14, 15. Whenever you the minister, I got you. And so, and that was it. I would just say that, and he would say, all right. And so I remember when Brother Jordan had passed, and we were at the funeral. And I was, I forgot I even told Dee that. So I used to tell him that. So what happened, we were coming up and we were viewing the body for the last time. And when I shook Dee's hand, Brother Gilbert's hand, he said, it's time. And I didn't have to think about it. All of a sudden, I knew what he was talking about. Like, it's time it's like our time, whatever role you're going to get, you're going to fit in, this is our time, this is our moment, this is the opportunity, we next up, we got next.